What's up, everybody, and welcome into another edition of the Auburn Blitz podcast, coming to you here on Hump Day, Wednesday. And old man winter has returned back to the state of Alabama. It's pretty nasty weather outside. I think the rain's going to get out of here, but the cold temperatures are returning, Faith, and that sucks. We want that to go on back up north where it lives permanently. So we don't like it down here when it visits.
Yeah, that little rodent groundhog was right about it being cold for a couple more weeks. It's freezing here.
I mean, don't ever doubt Punxsutawney Phil, right? I guess Pete is trying to eliminate Punxsutawney Phil. They think he's being mistreated. That groundhog gets better treatment than most people do, but they think he's.
People understand that those things live out there.
Well, how do they know that it's under stress? Like they said, it's been stressed out by doing what it's doing. I don't know. I mean, but anyway, welcome to 2025, right?
Where a rodent is stressed. Please.
He's stressed out, so please release him back into the wild. I think he's probably really good where he is. So we're really good where we are. And Auburn basketball is, really good where it is right now, heading into tonight's matchup with Arkansas. We're going to talk about that some. Auburn baseball walked it off last night against Troy. That was a big win. Troy, number 24 in the country, and Auburn was number 25. And so don't sleep on the Troy Trojans. Very good baseball program, good team, and Auburn was able to pull that win out last night, Faith, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And, softball off to an 11-0 start with some really big wins this past weekend. Some football recruiting and some football talk will go on a little bit later on in the show. We want everybody to hang on for that, but the task at hand tonight is Auburn and Arkansas. But getting things started here on the program. Again, we cannot do this show each and every day without our great sponsors. And we always start off with Sense of Green for air that's cool and clean. Call them Sense of Green. They are the carrier experts here in the state of Alabama, proud supporters of Auburn athletics and the Auburn Blitz podcast here. So we appreciate Sense of Green. Call on them for your heating and air issues if you have them, or if you're looking for a new unit, call on them. Scout Program Management, handling all types of construction projects, the pre-construction phase all the way to the end. They are a full-service construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama, but they handle projects all over the Southeast. Give them a call. Check them out on the web. You will not go wrong if you're looking at building a new school or whatever it is that you're about to undertake. And Bunkers in downtown Auburn, every time that flashes up, Faith, I want to go head over to Bunkers and get some great food, hit around on the simulators. It's just a cool place to be. And they're building another bar, so they already have one. They're building another one. So you and I are going to have to go back and check that out when that's finished. So a lot of exciting things going on with us, and we've got some more partners that we'll talk about here a little bit later on in the show. But now business at hand, Auburn and Arkansas tonight. This is a Arkansas team that lost its best player and got better. I mean, I don't really know any other way to say it. And Coach Pearl said it in the press conference yesterday, previewing Arkansas. He said that, when you look at Arkansas as a team, Boogie Flan goes down. He said, this happens a lot of times. You move a guy back over into their natural position, and sometimes less is more. And you never want to lose your best player. And I know a lot of times we talk about if you lose your best player, you're a different team. Well, in this case, Arkansas is a different team because Boogie Flan went down. And if you want to look at Therio that transferred over from Kentucky, and you want to look at Wagner, who had to slide over to that point guard position and take over for Boogie Flan, he's been able to play really, really well, and his points per game average has gone up, and the results have been better for Arkansas. So it doesn't happen like that all the time, but ever since Boogie Fland exited with that injury, Arkansas has been a better team. And so over the last 5 or 6 games, they've played extremely well. They've beaten Michigan earlier in the year. They went to Rupp last week or week before last and knocked them off. So this is a team Auburn better be prepared for. They can they've got enough players in Therio and Wagner and Davis and Big Z, very versatile big man that they can come in and knock you off, man. This would not be one that you would want to drop.
Yeah, 7'2". Big Z is standing tall.
And he can shoot the three.
Yeah, the fact that he's 45% from beyond the arc this season that's nuts. That's talent right there. And he's going to be somebody that, with his length and how versatile he is, he's going to have to be.
Yeah, I want to look at their game against Alabama, and again, Alabama had a 17 or 18 point lead, and he was one of the big reasons they came back. And when Arkansas fell a little bit short in that game, but they cut it to, I think they cut it to 2 or 3 and ended up losing the game by 4. But if you look at the box score, really he came on at the end and was a big part of what happened there. He had 27 points in that game on 10 of 18 shooting, and he was 5 of 9 from behind the 3-point line. That's a little bit scary because of his length. We have great guards. Obviously, Denver Jones has done a great job this year of shutting down the other team's best point or shooting guard, whichever one it is that he has to guard. But this guy brings a whole different element to the table. You don't normally see a guy his size that can jump out from behind the 3-point line and hit 10 threes. So phenomenal player there. Obviously, Therio is going to be a guy that Auburn is going to have to pay attention to. Those are the top 2 guys. DJ Wagner is going to be a guy that's going to distribute the basketball, and he can score as well. But his main goal is to get it to those scores for Arkansas. And so Auburn is going to play a team that's kind of balanced here in Arkansas, that has some momentum, that has gone to Rupp Arena, that has played Alabama and come from behind and almost beat them. This team is battle tested, and when you're looking at an Arkansas team, Faith, that's sitting here in the standings at 4-8, 15-10, they're on that cusp of being a team that could be squeaking in as the last 4, or they could also be one of the last 4 out. But a win at Auburn would change that whole outlook for them. It would be far and away their best win of the season.
That's why it's a bigger game for them than it is for us. And that's why I think if our defense is lazy, lacking, or whatever, they're going to expose us with their offense.
Is it a bigger game for them than us? Really?
For them, it is. If they think about if they have a win against the number 1 team in the country at this point of the season versus if we beat Arkansas, who's 4-8 in the conference, that's not nearly as big of a deal if they beat us.
Well, and I totally agree with that point. What I'm saying is I think all of them are big for us from here on out because we're trying to win a championship. It's big for Arkansas. I think it's big for both teams in different ways. I think it's big for Arkansas, everything you just said, so I won't repeat that. It's big for Auburn because all of that hoopla and everything that went on Saturday with that win against Alabama would be washed away if you come back home and you lose to a team like Arkansas, and it's a game that you're not supposed to drop, and it's a game that, again, brings the field back closer to you. So I think when I heard Coach Pearl talk in the press conference yesterday, he's like, it's obviously a big game for us because we're trying to win a championship. Arkansas is not winning a championship. They're trying to get a resume builder and get a win over the number one team in the country, which obviously means it's huge for them, and it would be the biggest win for them this season. But Auburn, to stay on track to win the regular season, it's big for them because we want to stay we want to look at these next three games, and I kind of break things. You know, I like to break things down in segments. Well, we're down to the last 6 games of the season, and so let's look at these first 3. They're all at home, and they're against teams that Auburn's going to be heavily favored against. They're against Arkansas and Georgia, 2 teams toward the bottom of the conference, and then an Ole Miss team that has been on a roller coaster. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get from Ole Miss from one game to the next. They may beat Kentucky and then come back and lose to Vanderbilt, or I'm just throwing hypothetical stuff out there. So you just kind of get a mixed bag with them. So, but these next 3 games could put Auburn at the 14 win mark, Faith, and with 3 games left in the conference for everybody, even if Florida wins their next 3, they're a full game behind Auburn with 3 games left at that point. And that's saying if Florida doesn't have a hiccup somewhere along the way and lose. So Auburn gets even closer to that magic number of 14 or maybe even 15 wins to win this conference if they win these next 3. So that to me is why this one is – I don't want people – I don't want Auburn fans – I don't want any of us to discredit and think that this is not an important game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, that's obviously not what I was saying. I'm just saying I think it's definitely a bigger deal for them than it is for us. And if we were to play lazy, or if we were to, I don't know, just act like this was going to be a giveaway game, that's how they're going to sneak up on us and get a win. But no, I agree. I think Auburn, they know the goal, and Coach Pearl has said when he was talking in the press conference, he said that the boys need to be prepared for this game and act like this game is just as important as Alabama was. And so I'm hoping that they're going to go in with the mentality of.
I think Bruce Pearl, I think that's what sets him apart from most every other coach, is that he does a really good job. I mean, I loved what he did. The guys got home and they were able to have the day off on Monday, and they were able to get back to Auburn in time to kind of celebrate with the fans. And and then on Sunday they were at the they were around, and they were at the girls' game, and they were at some other events, and letting the fans kind of interact and mingle with them, but then back to business and get refocused and understand that we still have a lot of business at hand with these last 6 basketball games, and it's good to be back home in Neville Arena after being on the road for over a week now, and being able to play in front of your home fans and see what that energy can bring back to this team. And again, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a grind. The basketball season for everybody's that way. It was good to hear that Chad Baker-Mazara had a good practice yesterday, and looks like he's getting closer to 100% and feeling better. They'll kind of monitor him and see how things go. But, that's a key element here, Faith, that we talked about yesterday, getting your guys as healthy as possible. And at this point, every team's got guys banged up. But Chad Baker, and we'll kind of go there for a second, really had a good game against Alabama, battled through a lot of stuff. And but he's definitely going to be a guy that we need coming down the stretch. We're going to have to rely on him a lot.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He's one of our biggest weapons, but he can also be one of our biggest weapons used against us. And when he's on, and I think he's done well throughout the season, controlling his emotions. And I know he had a flagrant and fouled out this past week, but I think he's done so well controlling his emotions and maturing. But I feel like he's kind of one of those players that if he's banged up and he's hurt, you can tell out on the court. It's a little lazy, a little slow, a little lazy on that end. But yeah, we're gonna need him, especially for the rest of the season and winning some basketball games, Brett.
Yeah, we got to win. I'm going to say we got to win at least 4 more of the 6, and that will put us in a really good spot.
So if you think we're winning 4 of the 6, who are we losing to?
I don't know. I mean, it would be probably somebody in that last 3. I mean, the trip to Rupp is the trip to Rupp for Auburn.
Yeah.
Look, we've had a lot of good teams go up to Rupp Arena in the last 20 years. I mean, I want to go back 20, 25 years. The 99, 2000 team went up there and laid an egg. You look back at the season with Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith. Terrible outing for Auburn up there. I'm sorry, Faith. My voice this morning is just kicking my tail. But we've taken, it's a curse. We haven't won up there since 1987. And so I'm not counting that as a win at all. I don't care how good we are. We've got to get over the hump at some point in time. So that one definitely is up in the air for me personally. You've got Alabama again at home. Look, you don't think they want to come in and repay the favor of what we did on Saturday? Absolutely they do. So, and then you've got Texas A&M. Now, I know they lost to Mississippi State last night, but going to their place, they were on the road at the hump. We've got to go to their place. Again, we're going to have the target on our back. We've got 3 very difficult games to close the season out with Kentucky, A&M, and Alabama. And only one of those is at home. And so I'm just saying that's why these next 3, these home games, we've already dropped 1 at home. You get 9 home games, you get 9 road games. So the goal is to try to win all of your home games and steal as many as you can on the road. Well, we faltered. We let Florida come in and beat us. So we got to make that one up somewhere. But if we win these next 3 at home, Faith, we're ahead of schedule. So I don't want to lose any of them. And I think we definitely will be favored probably in all of them. I would think we'd be favored against Kentucky on the road and Texas A&M because of where we are, especially if we win the next 3. But that's going to be a tough stretch, and that's going to be I'm going to say this, it's going to be a good stretch for us heading into postseason.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's almost like it's not the same as football, but we've been talking about the football season predictions and 3-30. So let's hope this is not the same, but let's hope.
No, let's not do that.
It's funny. That's all I could think about when you were just sitting there talking about that. I was like,
one of these things is not like the other game, and that's basketball is not like football right now at Auburn. Thank goodness. Hopefully football will start playing like our basketball team. That's the key there. But I just want to talk about real quick, and we'll move on. Thero is their leading scorer at 15.8 points a game. DJ Wagner has upped his game, obviously, with the absence of Boogie Flan. He's at 10.2 points a game. Davis comes in at 10.1 points a game. and then Big Z at 9.5 points a game. So they only have, with the absence of Boogie Flan, 3 guys in double figures, averaging points for the season. So you can't look at that though. It's a different team. They played well over the last several weeks. When you look at what they've been able to do, they handled business against LSU. They almost came back and knocked off Alabama at home after getting down big. They went on the road and knocked off Texas right after they traveled to Rupp Arena in a highly emotional game. So think about all of that. Kentucky had probably not been hyped up more for a game other than that one all year, and Arkansas rolled in there and beat them 89-79, and that was a big win for John Calipari, and it's kind of propelled this team to kind of be where they are right now. So Auburn's playing a different look Arkansas team. They lost the first 5 games of the season, so they got off to a horrific start. But if you look at the last, 6, 7, 8 games, it's been a different Arkansas team. So looking forward to it tonight. Auburn is a 16.5 point favorite, Faith. So, yeah, nobody's really expecting this to be a close game. If Auburn plays its A game, it won't be a close game. That's just the bottom line. So I think that's what Bruce Pearl and this staff do such a great job of doing, and that's turning the page. No matter who the opponent is, you respect the next guy up, and I think the energy will be high in the building, and that'll also help Auburn play at a higher level. I would be a little bit more concerned if Auburn were traveling to Arkansas. That would be a little bit more of a scary situation because, again, anytime you're number one and you're traveling on the road, they're playing a little bit better. What they did and how they played against Alabama in the second half would be a little bit scary. But at Auburn, I mean, we are a probably 12 to 15 point better team for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And we kind of went through a little bit of the stats yesterday and how the average points per game with us is significantly higher than theirs.
They do play defense like us, like you said yesterday, but we do average about 10, 11 points more a game than they do.
Yeah. So I don't know. We really gotta. I trust Bruce, but it is one of those games where if we're not going to be playing defense the way that we can, that's when it'll be a trap game for us.
I think we'll be playing defense the way.
I think so too. I'm just saying.
I think we're going to be fine. Yeah, I think you're bringing up the point that we don't need to take. We don't need to take them for granted. I don't think we will. All right, let's look at games last night. Boy, South Carolina just went ahead and just mailed it on in, haven't they? Again, I talked about this yesterday. This was the can of Campbell's soup game. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, back in the day, I remember going to Auburn games, and they had food bank games where you could bring a can of soup and basically get in for free. They were just trying to get people to come into Beard East Coliseum. And, to think about that to where we are now is just crazy. But that South Carolina LSU game was a Campbell's soup game. If you would have brought 2 cans of Campbell's soup to LSU last night, they probably would have let you in. They just wanted somebody in the building. And LSU, a little bit better than South Carolina, and they beat South Carolina. They beat them 81-67. This South Carolina team, let me glance at this real quick because I haven't followed South Carolina. Obviously, I don't care. But let's see who they have left on their schedule, Faith, and I'm going to do win or loss for you, and you tell me if you think South Carolina is going to get a win in any of these last 5 games, and I'll start. All right, the next game up for South Carolina is at home against Texas. Texas is 16-10. They're not a world beater, but they are better than South Carolina. So win or loss? L, big L. All right, the following Tuesday, they head on the road. You don't even have to hear who it is. Missouri, and it is. I agree with you. L. All right. So last 3 games of the season for South Carolina, Arkansas travels to South Carolina on March the 1st. Win or loss?
I want to say that they're going to win it.
That okay. Okay. Whatever. I'll let you. You're just feeling sympathy. You're going back to the L. Okay. Loss. They're not losing. Look, Arkansas is not going in there losing. All right. Georgia at South Carolina.
Yay. I wanted to give them some. I don't want to say that they're going to lose all 6.
Okay. So you're going to go with Arkansas or Georgia that they win?
Ew, not Georgia.
You think they'll beat Georgia? You think
No.
Georgia will beat them?
Well,
Okay.
I don't want Georgia to win, but I also don't think South Carolina is going to be
I'm confused over here, Faith. I mean,
I don't
this
like
was supposed
Georgia.
to be a win-loss.
I know.
This was
I
supposed
don't
to
like
be a
Georgia.
simple.
We know this because I'm from Georgia.
So I thought
don't
you
want
would
to
pick
win.
South Carolina then, since you don't like.
But I don't think they're going to win.
Okay, well then it's an L. All right, we've complicated this thing. All right,
I think
and
they're
then
going 0 for 5.
okay, so they're 0-5. You waffled on the Arkansas game. You thought they'd
know,
win,
that's just because
and I
I
talked
wanted
you
to
out
pick
of. I
them.
talked you out of it because you were picking on your heart with your heart, not your brain.
I know.
That's what you were doing.
That.
You felt sorry for them. Don't feel sorry for them. They wouldn't feel sorry for us. So
I know.
get your mad
That's
on.
such a woman thing of
Get
me
your,
to do.
exactly. I mean, so sentimental. Good Lord. Wow, why are you being so
They're going
sentimental?
0-5, okay? They stink.
Okay, 0-5. Get stern. Stern. Get stern.
They're going 0-5.
All right.
I'm sticking with it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and help you on this one. They ain't winning the last one either. They end the season at Tennessee.
Heck no.
So that is 0-18 in a team that halfway through the SEC schedule last year was in first place until Auburn blew their doors off. Auburn beat them by 40, and then they kind of waffled a little bit then, and they still were a decent team, but my God, I mean, they went – you talking about going down the tubes. This is a team that it's going to take a terrible effort by Arkansas or Georgia for them to win a game. I'll just put it that way.
I agree.
So he said South Carolina could be a NCAA tournament team if they played in ACC. I would have agreed with that earlier in the year. I think this team's melded in now. I see what you're saying. The competition's so much stronger, and they would have won several more games than they won. Obviously, they haven't won none, so one would be more than what they've won. But I still don't think they have. I still think it would be borderline. Winning promotes top effort, and South Carolina would win in the ACC. I mean, I'm not arguing with you on that. I think that I think they are a good enough team and have good enough players that they would win some games in the ACC. But I don't know if they are a tournament team. I think earlier in the year, if they could have gotten some things to go their way, they may have rallied a little bit. But this team looks like they've just completely melded in. Good morning to you, Jerron. Always good to hear from you out there. All right, Texas A&M went to Mississippi State last night. This was the number 7 team in the country, and they got it taken to them. Only scored 54 points. Were held to 23.
State's on a hot streak, man. Coming off that win.
Was dangerous.
Yeah, coming off that win in Oxford, and then went back to the hump. Texas A&M
not an easy place to play. Josh Hubbard, he can do this. That's the scary thing about playing Mississippi State is Josh Hubbard can go for 25. We've seen him go for 30-something in a game. He's a phenomenal player. So,
what about Texas Tech losing against TCU last night? The number 9 team.
Yeah, I think I texted you yesterday, and I said, I think we were in a conversation, and I think this was you. I'm almost positive. If you go, I don't know what you're talking about. Just tell me. I think that, if Auburn runs the table in the conference, and then you look at games like the one you just brought up with Texas Tech losing to TCU, and in the strength of schedule that Auburn's played, it just feels like, it just feels like this is a team that if we were to make it all the way and not win a national championship, it would be a disappointment. I'm not saying the season's a disappointment. I'm just saying that it just feels like we're that much better on a neutral court than everybody else. I mean, if you look at the Duke game, yeah, we had a slip up against Florida. I told you that for 3 weeks leading up to that game. Yeah. People can go back and look at all our episodes and they can see that I said Florida was the worst matchup for us. And it ended up being that way. I don't want to play them again. Okay. I think I'm not saying that Auburn can't beat them, but that's just a bad matchup. But on a neutral floor, I like our chances against Florida. On a neutral floor, I like our chances against Duke. We had just come back from the Maui Invitational. It was a short turnaround. I had to go to Cameron Indoor, and they had a freshman go off in the first half for 18 points and didn't pee a drop the second half at all. I don't think he's done much since then. And so that's the crazy thing about basketball. One guy can go off and you cannot be on your game and you can lose a game and then you're out in a tournament setting. But it just feels like, going back to my point, is that this team is like so much better than everybody right now on offensive and defensive sides of the basketball. And if we were to make it and not finish and win with this team, as deep as it is, as talented as it is, and the schedule that it's played, and I know you can fall on your face, Kentucky did it. They went 30-0, played Wisconsin in the semifinal of the Final Four, and got beat. And, that was a disappointment. But this team is poised to make a run and win it all. And I just think, obviously, if we go to the Final Four, that will be a awesome thing, and we'll hang another Final Four banner. But, man, you don't know how many more times you're going to continue to get there and have a shot at it. This team is that good, Faith. But we see it all the time. Not necessarily the best team in basketball wins a national championship.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. There's also, and I know we say this every single time, but this conference, the SEC, is so dominant and they're so good compared to all the other conferences.
They are. And they really are.
And like we've said, our schedule has been so tough, and it has been, I think, a really good early on in the season. We were able to really develop and kind of get ready for, I guess, this part of the season when there's games that are, sometimes we're playing 3 games in 6 days or 3 games in 7 days, and it's just nonstop. And I think we've really proven that we should be where we are, and kind of how, I don't know, just how good we are. And watching some of these other teams and some of these other games that are not in the SEC, and even some that are, but it just shows, I feel like, how good we are and how we really deserve to be where we are.
Couldn't say it better.
Kansas lost last night 57-91 against BYU. And
again, when you look at some of these programs that, historically, dominant and blue bloods and whatever you want to say, on any given night, they can just get beat by 40. I don't see this team ever getting beat by 40. It takes a unbelievable
There's no
effort.
Comparison that we would ever lose by 40. This team.
No
shot.
It's not. So, it's going to take like an effort like Florida. I'm not saying we even played bad against Florida. We could have played better. It was definitely not our best game, especially defensively. But, Florida ended up winning the game, by 9 points? And it really just, Florida, tip your hat, they just played better than us that day. And they came in and they got down and they weathered the storm and they came from behind and won the game. So I tipped my hat, and I knew it. I told you they were that kind of team. And Todd Golden, who is a protege of Bruce Pearl. They know a lot about each other. They communicate. So there's another, and same with us. We know a lot about Florida because those two guys talk all the time. He and Stephen Pearl talk all the time. But if you give us, if it's Auburn versus the house, I'm taking Auburn because if it's, you throw anybody out there, throw Texas Tech, okay, Auburn's better. You throw Duke out there, I'm going to say Auburn's better, top to bottom. Cooper Flagg's phenomenal, but outside of that, there's not many I'd trade on Auburn's team for anybody that's on Duke's team. I just keep going down the list. So I'm going to ride with Auburn versus – it's kind of like when Tiger Woods was just mowing people down in his heyday, and it was like the field or Tiger Woods. And I'm taking Tiger Woods all day long back in his heyday when he was, in a major tournament against the rest of the field. So I think that's kind of how it is right now, and that's how dominant Auburn is. And hopefully they can keep that going. And tonight we'll see. It's always fun. Game day. It's always a fun day when we have another basketball game. Let's talk about some of our other partners real quick. Want to give props to them. Sure Shot, and I do that every time, Faith. Sometimes you just learn. You think you learn, but you don't. Sure Shot in Alexander City for all your outdoor needs, apparel, firearms, hunting. Go see them, folks. If you haven't been to Sure Shot, go check them out on Highway 280. I get all of my hunting stuff from Sure Shot. All my guns, almost all of them have been purchased at Sure Shot, even my handguns. 256-329-0080. They have the Browning 22 rifles in stock. They are hard to get. If you have not seen those, you need to go check them out. The Browning SA-22 and the Browning BL-22 rifles. Go check them out. Call Scott Watson at that number, and he'll help you out with whatever it is that you're possibly looking for. He'll take care of you. And Oliver Ross is an awesome full-service bartending operation that will come out and handle your parties as small as 25 or 50 up to 5,000 or even 30,000. They handle all size events, fully licensed, experienced bartenders. They come out, handle all your service. I've been to many events where Oliver Ross handled the bartending service, and they do a phenomenal job. So if you're looking to host a party, host an event, anything like that, call on Oliver Ross. Go check them out on Instagram. I wanted to promote their Instagram page there. It's Oliver Ross Bar Service, and their line is crafting unforgettable moments with bespoke cocktails and exceptional bar service. So elegantly written there, Faith. Sounds like something you would have written. So
go ahead. Can you hear that dog barking?
Okay, I do not.
Well, it just stopped. Okay, well,
I do not hear a dog barking. Nope, I didn't hear the dog barking.
When I came back from Oxford, I guess my upstairs neighbors got a new puppy.
I can hear him now. Now that you said that, you now that I'm listening for it, I can definitely hear the dog barking. So it's okay. It's muffled.
That's why Lucy was like,
kind of.
Like, she would never. Just so everybody knows, she's perfect.
That's right. As Copper moves around and gets comfortable on the couch behind us. Hugh said Arkansas is desperate for a win. I hope we keep the pedal down tonight. We can't start mid-game coasting in this game. They're playing much better. And obviously, Coach Calipari, one of the better coaches of all time, is over there on their bench. Also, it seems like the SEC tournament's only beneficial to get the winner in the NCAA tournament. They set all the top seeding before, so and it does, and that's right. It didn't help us last year to win the tournament, and we kind of went into that yesterday. I don't think the tournament, if you're a number 1 or 2 seed, you're looking at this tournament totally different. If you're a bubble team, you're coming in trying to win a couple games and try to boost your resume to get in. So I think it is based on where you are in the season and kind of how you approach it is depending on the aspect of the tournament. So, Faith, let's shift over, talk about baseball real quick before we get off. Auburn knocked off Troy last night at home. Ike Irish with a walk-off single in the ninth with a 7-6 win. Coach Thompson, talking about the game, said that, he thought it was one of those games where he found out that this team will compete. And that's what you're looking for early in the season. Arkansas is number 24 in the country. Auburn was number 25. So this was not some chump team coming in. And, a lot of times in midweek games, in the past when you have a Troy or a Jacksonville State or a South Alabama or UAB or whatever, especially when you get into SEC play and you have these midweek games, it's all about managing your pitching rotation. And maybe those teams see it as an opportunity to come in and get a big win. So they may pitch a better pitcher or somebody that's a little bit higher up on their depth chart than us. But this is early in the season. You're trying to figure out things. You got Cam Tilley and Jet Johnson coming in and providing 5 innings of scoreless relief to kind of keep the game where it was. And, so a lot of freshmen on this team, and I know we'll dive into it more as the season gets going, but it was good to see Ike Irish, obviously one of the best players in the country, come through there after several guys got on base for Auburn there in the ninth inning, and he was able to provide the game-winning single and walk it off there against Troy. Improved to 4-1 on the season, or 3-1 on the season, excuse me.
Yeah. And another game tonight against North Alabama.
Right.
4.
Yep, got to play North Alabama at 4. And again, will be a little bit chilly tonight as this weather comes through, and it's baseball season. I do want to talk about our softball team real quick. Man, what a great start for them. Off to an 11-0 start. The Malvo era is rocking and rolling, Faith. Just couldn't ask for a better, and again, it's great to see the return of our offense. I'll put it that way. Offense has had a shot in the arm, and that's the thing that we had struggled with the last couple of years under Mickey Dean, is not being able to score runs when we need to score runs. But if you look at the way Auburn wins games against Southern Illinois Friday, they beat them 6-1. They beat North Carolina 8-1. They beat Appalachian State 10-9. This was the opening weekend. I'm kind of going through all these. Then they won a 10-9 game. Then they won a 9-7 game. They've also won a 1-0 game against Central Florida last Friday. They won a 14-11 game right after that. Then they came back and beat the number 9 team in the country, Oklahoma State, 2-1, and beat a very good Liberty team 2-1. So they've shown as they get back to play on Friday at the Rocket City Showcase, they'll play Louisiana Tech and James Madison and UNA over the weekend. But they know how to win pitching duel games, and they know how to play bully ball and beat you 14-13.
Yeah, no, I think this has been a great start for the Malvos, and I've said it before, but it's great to have 2 people be able to, one concentrates on this, one concentrates on that, and like offense and defense there. But yeah, it is a great start for them, and I'm really excited to see how and what more they can do.
Got 2 girls hitting over 400. We got Tresvik hitting 471 right now. She is blistering the softball. She's got 16 RBIs, 6 home runs already, 2 doubles. She's played in all 11 games. She's had 34 at-bats. So she is absolutely blistering the softball. And Abby Smith's right behind her. She's hitting 464. She's got not the power numbers, but just a base hitter, an on base, high base percentage. Got a 571 slugging percentage. So just a phenomenal hitter. Two girls hitting over 460. I mean, and then you got Nelia Peralta hitting 395 and Anna Wohlers hitting 393. So just and keep on going down. KK McCrary at 324. So you got 5 girls hitting over 320, and then 2 hitting over 460. So you kind of have those offensive numbers, and some of these other girls, are picking it up. Love to see the offense, and then of course on in the circle pitching. You've got some different names. Auburn lost majority of their pitchers, but S.J. Gearian has pitched in 9 games so far and has a 1.45 ERA. So has done a tremendous job there. Strikeouts. Let's see how many strikeouts. 22 strikeouts already for her. And then Chalia Clemens has pitched in 3 games. Haley Rainey has pitched in 8. So that's really your 3 there that we've seen so far. And then also you look down at Tresvik. She's been in 11 games and come in and been able to perform pretty well there. She's only pitched in 2 innings total, but right now, overall, Auburn's figuring out a way to get it done, Faith. Pitching when they need it, hitting when they need it. You got to be versatile, but often 11-0 start. They'll be back in action coming up Friday up in North Alabama in the Rocket City Classic, and kind of ran down some of those teams that Auburn will be playing. So it is spring, although it feels like we're in the Arctic Circle again. It is baseball and softball season, and as we're coming down the stretch here with basketball, we're about to shift our focus over to those 2 sports. So it's been a lot of fun, and again, want to thank all of our sponsors, Sensa Green and Scout Program Management. I couldn't do the program without them. Bunkers, all of them phenomenal partners here on the program. Faith, you and I'll be over in Auburn today visiting some people, having some meetings. But Sensa Green, the carrier experts, can do it without program management, full service construction firm in Birmingham, and then Bunkers there on West Glen for the best time around. Great food, great atmosphere, and again, Sure Shot in Alexander City for your outdoor needs, apparel, and firearms. They trade your guns in, and they also have an unbelievable selection of new guns. And Oliver Ross is a full-service bartending service. Schedule them for your next party or gathering. You will not be disappointed. Faith, anything else before we close it out here on this Wednesday?
I don't think so. Excited to watch some basketball tonight, keep up with some baseball.
Tonight's a warm, eat something warm night tonight. Is this going to drop down into the possible 20s tonight, I saw?
Yeah, it snowed over in Oxford last night.
Right.
So I'm glad I got out of there before.
Well, that was a great decision. We were close. I saw the line coming through this morning. I think Birmingham got some snow on up through there. So tonight maybe a chili or a soup or some kind of something warm to eat tonight. Yes, thank you very much. Subscribe, like, share, all of those good things as we are inching closer to 600 subscribers. Faith, we're getting there. I'm going to be giving away some more hats and stuff. Jeff said a long way to go, but would take ESPN bracket projections from yesterday. Yeah, I saw that, Jeff, and maybe we could talk about that some more. I do want to say we'd talk a little bit about football. The PFF came out and ranking of wide receiver. Look at there, sporting the hat. Always top-notch hat game for Faith, and I don't know that it gets any better than the Auburn Blitz hat there that you're sporting.
I need to break it in first.
Yeah, you can break it in, but it looked A-okay there
Well, it was too big on my head. I do have a big head, but
it's okay. It's all that brain power, right?
yeah, but guys, it's adjustable. So don't worry, even if you have a big head like me or
Well, that's the
just
great
small
thing
one.
about those Richardson hats. You can adjust them to your head if you got all that brain power like Faith does. All right, so Auburn is the only team that has a duo of wide receivers going into the season in the top 10. Eric Singleton, the transfer, comes in at number 5, and then Cam Coleman comes in at number 6. Then you add Malcolm Simmons in, who was one of the top freshmen in the country, along with Perry Thompson, Bryce Kane, Horatio Fields. This is an unbelievable wide receiver room, Faith.
Yeah, no doubt. I think I'm
Look at
excited
there. But
to.
you have another – I'm sorry to cut you off. You have another compliment on your hat game. Bubba jumps in and said, hats look good on Faith. So
Thanks, guys.
you're getting all kind of compliments there. It does look good.
I know it does. I
Yep.
had washed my hair last night and I was like, I can't put the hat on clean hair, but here we are.
There you are. The things that you do, the sacrifices that you make. Hugh said, send me a hat. I'll wear it over here in Tuscaloosa. We may have to do that, Hugh. I'm a man of my word. We're going to get to 600. We're going to give a lot more stuff away. So help us get to 600 and you might get a hat. I'd love to send hats over and then to Tuscaloosa and infiltrate enemy territory with a bunch of Auburn Blitz hats. So, again, we'll talk more football as we go. Man, it's right around the corner. Spring practice will be loaded down here on the Auburn Blitz, talking about everything going on with football. We've got an exciting month ahead of us with basketball. I hope it's an exciting month. I hope March is full of excitement for Auburn basketball. And then, of course, baseball and softball, we'll be covering them. Both teams off to great starts here in the early going of the season. So, Faith, I will see you a little bit later on, and hope everybody stays warm today. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be back with you in the morning to recap everything for another edition of the Auburn Blitz podcast. So everybody have a great day and a big old War Eagle.
War Eagle.